Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rams Talk Show episode 3 here on a beautiful Sunday. Of course, my name is E. Alongside, you see my partner Jay, who's been feeling under the weather the last few days, but decided to still wanted to roll with the show. So hopefully, he's got enough rest and enough hydro drinks to stay hydrated. Partner, hope you're doing all right over there.
Yes, sir. Partner, appreciate it. Yeah, I feel a little bit better today, but excited for this episode 3. Let's get it. Rams talk. A lot of spring training been going on, and let's get into it.
Yeah, we were going to do the show last night, but I felt in the interest of his health, it'd be best to just hold off until he was ready. But we got a lot of things to talk about, so let's get to it. As you know, OTAs began just recently in Maui, Hawaii. As you can see, Sean McVay with his Maui Mama shirt there. Um, Partner, what do you think the team felt going to Maui for these OTAs?
I felt like they had not just practice, but the fan base out there in Hawaii supported a lot. And even there's quotes about Puka about how received he felt once he got to Maui. And even the players had a good time. They had a night out. They all went to go sing karaoke, so we could see the chemistry building already in the off season for the Rams.
Or and the Rams are actually getting ready for the season. As we take a look at their latest additions here, the Rams had just recently signed former offensive tackle or lineman DJ Humphries to a 1 year deal. As you know, this guy's been around, drafted in 2015 by the Cardinals, but the last couple seasons he's been dealing with some injuries. One of them was an ACL. Signed with Kansas City last year, but only played 2 games. The Rams bring him in addition to that offensive line and partner. He is a seasoned veteran. Is this a good move for the Rams to put this guy on the line?
Yes, I like that veteran presence in that offensive line, like you mentioned, of tackle, but I like it. I know he's been dealing with injuries and stuff like that, but that veteran presence could help the young rookies, sophomores in the front.
Yeah, of course. This is still in progress, as you know. We'll see how he does. There's still no word or no telling what he's going to be doing in this system under Sean McVay, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have a lot to do when it comes to the blocking. As we also take a look at recent additions to the Rams as well, as you know, they just recently waived and recalled receiver Quintez Cephas. Then they had re-signed cornerback Darion Kendrick. Actually, they waived him and then they brought him back 3 days later.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying because we got him at a cheaper price contract wise, but who knows because he came off a season-ending surgery, and he's been good the last couple of years, but for him signing with us again, I feel like he's built, but he's already knows the playmaking and the books McVay does in the defensive side, especially with the defensive coaches.
Yeah, of course, he did have some injuries, but he is very familiar to this system. So we'll have to wait to see how he does, and let's see if he'll move around this season, play maybe free safety or still stay at that CB position. As we
Because
mentioned, they waived Quintez Cephas. That was a recent transaction, but this is what the Rams have been doing so far in free agency.
what you think about the resigning, in the CB? You think Jalen Ramsey is still in the hunt, or
Well, the last talks is that they had there's rumors going around that they may have had some conversations, but as our inside sources have told us, so far there hasn't been any deals. It's been pretty quiet between the two parties, but there are other teams out there that do want Jalen Ramsey. Of course, he wants to stay on the West Coast. So
right?
I'm looking at teams as the 49ers, the Raiders, even the Chargers.
Right.
Those are some West Coast teams that he wants to stay. He wants to stay West. So I mean, even Denver could be a possibility. Seattle is another possibility. Arizona, anywhere here in the West Coast, he wants to stay nearby. It's very, very, very particularly odd though that he hasn't been picked up yet. So you wonder if there's some issues that haven't been announced or hasn't happened or something's going on because this guy would have been picked up already based on his talents alone. He should have been picked up already. The fact that he's not, he's still on the street. Makes you wonder.
Yeah, I agree. He's if a team picks him up or a team he wants to sign with, he has a lot of options, and we'll see what happens in the next month or so, and see if where he gets signed to.
Yeah, also our inside sources also reported that the Rams had good talks with Jalen Ramsey. So I mean, I still we wonder.
That's a good sign.
But we'll have to see how that goes. But moving on here in the program, we also know that partner, the time of the year is coming where the season's about to start. Training camp between now and July 22nd, it's been reported that the rookies and veterans are going to be, I guess, taking part. And also, looks like they're going to be at Loyola Marymount University.
Yeah, their new future spring training arena because from what I heard all the dates are sold out.
Yeah, and that's another thing we're going to talk about too in a few minutes. Training camp sold out. We know these tickets are free. Just to let you guys know, these tickets are free. You just have to reserve dates. You just have to be there early because it does get packed. I've been there when they were in UC Irvine. I went one year when they won the Super Bowl. I got to see Stafford throw the ball. I saw Aaron Donald and I saw Sean McVay, but it gets very packed there. It was very, very, very packed. It was like going to the mall on the Black Friday after Thanksgiving, going by the new Nintendo Switch. That's just how bad it looked when it came to like attendance. It was very, very packed. Barely
Yeah, I could
walk.
so many Rams supporting, especially with this great group of guys we have in the in our system. Uh, I'm kind of sad I missed out on some tickets, but we'll see.
Not that you
I'll be
missed out, man. We slept on it.
yeah, we
We
slept on it.
slept on it.
Well, I'm gonna have to wait till the season so I can get some tickets for those home games coming in.
So much for the plans that we wanted to do there. But
And
also, one thing that we are monitoring or watching with the Rams is a series called, positions. So we're gonna be summarizing positions that the Rams are basically focused on. And right now, the first focus there is the tight end position. The coach, Tyler Higbee is back. He's coming off that nasty injury in the 2023 playoff game. Played a limited amount of time this past year. He came back near the end of the second half of the season. Um, had some games where he caught touchdowns. I believe the finale game against the Seattle Seahawks was where he actually excelled. I believe he caught over 100 yards reception, and I believe it was 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns against Seattle in that season finale. So Tyler Higbee continues to rehab his injury. He continues to slowly make his way back up on the roster, but still a lot of questions as far as his health long term. Is this a position that the Rams should be looking at as most, besides the quarterback or the wide receiver?
yes, I'll say the tight end and what we'll see from the running back position as well as we drafted Jarquez Hunter, but I feel like we're gonna use both Tyler Higbee and Terrence and Ferguson, our uh first round pick this year as a tight ends for the blocking run and for the passes as well.
But one question does remain, though, partner, and we're actually reviewing that is, can Tyler Higbee stay healthy for this 17 game season? Can he stay healthy that he can be relied on and get back to the Tyler Higbee old before this nasty injury?
Yeah, it's tough, and at his age, he's up there, so he might not play 100% of the snaps, but I could see him play 30 to 40% of the snaps between him and Terrence Ferguson.
As you know, the Rams did do draft positions, and here's a recap of what so far has been going on in the OTAs. The running back position is being reset, with the additions of the fourth round pick of Jarquez Hunter. You look at other running backs, as we have Williams, Freeman, and others. Does Hunter's appearance kind of like puts a target on Williams' shoulder, saying, hey, if you don't progress well, you don't play well. We got this guy that's coming out of college and he's hungry. he's going to be running the ball because in college, while he was at Auburn, he was pretty decent as a running back.
Yeah, I could see that happening because we've seen problems with Kyrie Williams in the past with holding the football, a lot of key fumbles. And especially after we drafted Jarquez Hunter, the GM and McVay gave him great compliments of why they picked him up and added another running back in our team. And I could see that happening. Even worst case scenario, even if Kyrie Williams gets injured, we could see him get a bump in the snap counts as well.
But how good is it to having Hunter on roster if something does go down? Because when the Rams won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, they had a stellar running back team. They had Cam Akers, who had a great 2020, but he tore his ACL in 2021. Came back briefly for the playoff run, was never the same after that. And then to replace him, they brought in Sony Michel from New England. He had an okay year, but he didn't have the explosive offense that everyone was hoping for that he had in New England. And then you had Darnell Henderson Jr., who was like the backup to Todd Gurley at the time. I mean, he had his opportunity, but he got hurt, and then the Rams shipped him off to Jacksonville, but don't even know where he's at now. So then now you got Williams here, who's had good numbers. He's had great numbers. His numbers go up year after year, but the problem is that he said it before. He fumbles the ball, and
Yeah.
that's something that he needs to work on. And that's why we're actually, when we prepared for this show, we actually looked more into the running back situation. And to me, that's going to be the key factor in this season. Remember, when Sean McVay came, Todd Gurley was here. When he took over the call duties, when he brought in his pieces, he excelled. Yeah, they may overuse him a lot, but he had a sufficient running game that took the pressure off of Jared Goff's hands at the time. Same thing here. They brought in Sony Michel. He helped take the pressure off Stafford's hands, but of course there was injuries in that season, and the Rams had a 4-game losing streak going into November. So a lot of things change. Question is, can Williams have another productive year, or maybe it's time to look at someone else to take this running position to the next level?
And we need that running game so it could open up the passing, especially with the key addition of Devontae Adams. And you can't forget Puka, superstar already in the making. I'm excited.
Yeah, speaking of Nuka partner, he actually said the other day when they arrived at in Maui that he got a welcome reception. He said, quote, he felt right at home.
Yeah, and he had a part of his heritage is from Hawaii, so I could see that. But overall, Puka Nakua is a fan favorite around the NFL from all his plays from last year to his rookie year. He's been doing insane, and he's a fan favorite overall.
Now, here's the question. Do you see Puka Nakua as the leader of this receiving core, or is that to Devontae Adams? Because again, remember, Puka Nakua played with Cooper Cup, who actually like passed the role to Puka Nakua because of his injuries. But again, Puka Nakua had a great rookie year. His rookie year, he nabbed 6 touchdowns. He had 1,000 yards receiving. Actually broke a rookie record.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this past year he was 10 yards short of 1,000. He could have
Wow.
had back-to-back 1,000 yard seasons, but he missed the first half of the season because of an injury. Of course, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but every time the Rams have to go to Detroit, something bad happens. We saw what happened to Tyler Higbee in the playoff game. We saw what happened in the opener last year. Uh, Cooper Cup gets hurt, then Puka Nakua gets hurt,
Hmm.
and then they go off to that slow start. So I'm hoping that if they do go to Detroit this year, things are different. But do you see Puka Nakua having better numbers than last year? Because he only had 3 touchdowns last year compared to the 6 he had his rookie year.
Yes, I believe we're gonna have a better season overall numbers for Puka this year. And I don't see him as a leader yet. I see Devontae Adams picking that leadership up because I've been seeing a lot of spring training video camps from them. And Devontae Adams is teaching Pakua many of his routes, where to position, many key plays in the playbook. So For sure, Devontae Adams is the main wide receiver for the Rams. And what was sorry, I forgot the other question, partner. Sorry about that.
Well, the other question was, do you see him as a leader? Like, do you expect him to have better numbers this year? Because last year he had lower numbers
Sure.
because
For
of the
sure,
injury.
for sure he's gonna get better numbers because Devontae Adams is gonna have at least two people on him most of the time, so that gives Pook enough time to break through and get into that hole and even run it down the. I could see him get a couple 50-yard plus touchdowns this year as well.
Well, we also saw this too, partner, last year. The year his rookie year, he caught the balls from Matthew Stafford.
Right.
He caught deep passes. He caught routes, slants, whatever you call it. Even quick passes, even those they run around crazy. I can't think of it on top of my mind right now, but um, he was mostly used last year for third down percentages. He did catch a couple third down passes in the playoff game in that drive before losing to the Eagles. Um, do you see Puka Nakua as a third down receiver, or is it more like we're gonna get you on first down or second down, or go for the deep passes on first down?
I'll say it depends on how we get that running game going. But yeah, I could still see him getting used in the third down uh play style like last year. Or who knows, even Devontae Adams could pick up that role. But I could see a split between our receivers, especially Tutu who we signed again last year or the year before. We could see him using routes as well. I can't forget Jordan Williamson.
Yeah, and then also we heard from Rams coach Eric Yarber, who's receivers coach partner.
Yeah.
He really likes his receiving core. He's very in love with it, especially with Devontae Adams' addition. And he also said that, this addition can help the young receivers and receivers like Puka, he's going into his third year. You have Tutu Atwell, who basically disappeared in the second half of the season. And then you have Whittington, who's been like the fill-in for Tyler Higbee. So do you see but I think you have answered this question, but I'll ask again. You see Devontae Adams being more of a role model teacher for these young guys?
Yes, 100%. Devontae Adams, the veteran who has more than 10 seasons of 1,000 plus receiving yards. I could see that happening. And there's already so many clips of Devontae Adams showing the young wide receiver core a little bit of his own medicine on his routes and the way he plays, which makes him a unique player. And I'm just glad we picked him up. I never thought Devontae Adams would be in the Rams uniform. And with Stafford throwing to him, is going to be a great, great year.
Here's an interesting stat, partner. So when we were preparing for the show, I had a chance to look at Devontae Adams stats. So he's been in the league 11 years. In
Right.
six of those 11 years, he's had over 1,000 yards receiving
Hmm.
in 6 of those 11 years. Normally, when you go past those 11 years, you kind of start looking kind of going down a little bit. We've seen that with some receivers. Now, the old receivers, I'm talking about Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice,
Hmm.
Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt,
A guy.
Keyshawn Johnson, Eric Moats.
Hmm.
We've seen these legends over the age of 30 continue to put up numbers past the age of 30 as if age doesn't matter to them. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when Jerry Rice was a Raider, everyone figured his numbers were going to go down because of his age. His numbers went up.
Yep.
He was still
No.
playing the same Jerry Rice football with the Raiders that he did with Frisco. Yeah, his last 2 years were pretty much downfall, but that was because they didn't have a quarterback. That was when they lost the Super Bowl. That's when the franchise went down. So I don't count those 2 years, but in the first 3 years he's been there, he's actually put up his numbers. So is it very interesting to see that Devontae Adams can still play at that high level, knowing that he's been in the league over 10 years? Because this isn't it when it's supposed to start going down?
Yeah, for many players, I'll say, but Devontae Adams is a special player. And as I show this on the screen, I'll tell you a little bit what we were talking about earlier about Devontae Adams being a role player and showing these core receivers on what to do as he's explaining to I think that's Jordan Whittington and Tutu Atwell.
Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I think that's Puka Nakua because I think they traded numbers because right now Devontae's wearing Puka's number.
Right.
Puka's wearing 12, and then I think that's Tutu Atwell 5. So he's basically being the coach right there. One
I love
thing
it.
I listened to Ray Lewis on Hard Knocks
Right.
when he made Hard Knocks after the Ravens won. He said, you have two coaches. You're gonna have
Mm.
your coaches on the sideline, and then you're gonna have those veteran players being your second coach. So from what I see right here, Devontae Adams is being a coach.
Yeah, I love it.
He could have a coaching future after he's done playing. I mean, look at Aaron Glenn. Aaron
I
Glenn
could
was a
see,
great cornerback. Now he's coach of his old team, the New York Jets.
I
So
could,
who knows? Maybe coaching would be on Devontae Adams' future.
yeah, I could see that for sure happening. And with us, he might even end his career with the Rams and
He
even
did
have
sign I believe he signed a 2-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
he might even get a ring with the Rams when the Super Bowl's
I tell
back
you
in.
right now, the way this offense is, they might make a run. As long as this team stays healthy, they can make another run.
Not just the offense, I'm more excited about the defense. That's the crazy part. It's gonna be a great year, partner.
Yeah, and then Devontae Adams has about 200 more yards before he reaches 12,000. He's already
Right?
got over 100 touchdowns. He's about 63 catches away from 1,000 in his career. So it's safe to say he's gonna have Hall of Fame careers, and
100%.
hopefully he'll be a first ballot. But as we mentioned before, we're sorry, folks, but training camp is sold out for the Rams.
And
If you were looking to go to Loyola Marriott, you're gonna have to wait till next year.
or have to buy it from resellers. Of
That or make a deal,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
hopefully somebody backs out and they call you. But partner, let me ask you though, are you surprised that this training camp sold out?
I'm not surprised because of after what we did last year with our rookie defensive and what we would have we would have been in a Super Bowl partner a couple plays away and everybody gave us respect, credit for everything that the Rams did last year. And I think that even brought us more Rams fans around the world, especially when we went international and we have another international game this year. So I think it's a good sign.
I believe the Rams will be in Germany this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Germany, I believe versus the Jaguars.
Now we mentioned earlier, partner, about Devontae Adams' baby possibly being a Hall of Famer, but let's talk about the one guy right now that is a Hall of Famer for sure, and that's Matthew Stafford. I was
Right.
watching Good Morning Football on the NFL Network on Friday, and they were making a case about Matthew Stafford being a Hall of Famer, but one of the debates was, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? And after that show, I actually started kind of investigating this myself. I pulled up all of his stats from when he was with Detroit. And it's very interesting what a career this young man's had. So I'm going to throw the question at you, Porter. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I'll say so, yes, because of everything that he's accomplished in his career. Yeah, he had a rough start with the Lions because of everything around the team they weren't building around him. But once he stepped into a Rams uniform, that changed. As we have here on the screen, Stafford's career stats as a Rams and as a Lions. So that tells you the whole story of, I believe he should be in the Hall of Fame.
But you look at his stats, partners, from Detroit to Los Angeles. He was drafted in '09. He's a 16-year veteran. You look at his record as a starter in Detroit. He threw for over 45,000 yards. His touchdown ratio is higher, but it's the record. He was 74, 90, and 1 as a starter. Only made the playoffs twice in Detroit, and they lost both appearances. You look at that stat compared to the Rams here, from when he made the trade for Goff. Of course, his beginning was the best year. He had the best year his first year out. Won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl. So far, his record with the Rams, he's 34-23 as a starter. So he's got a winning record here with the Rams, and his playoff record is very impressive. We mentioned he had 2 losses in Detroit, but since he's been with the Rams, well, before he was 4-0 at first, but now he's 5-2. Actually 5-3. That should be 5-3. I'm sorry, that was a typo there. He has a 5-3 record as a starter in the playoffs.
And
He's been to the Pro Bowl twice, but 2014, 2030. Also, he's in the top 10. He's on the top 10 all-time list when it comes to passing yards, and he's getting close to 60,000 as well.
wow.
So when you see these criterias, isn't this enough to say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yes, because he's not done yet. He still has this year to prove and maybe another year. What you think about that?
Look, last year it was pretty much an up and down year. We saw how he played well in the opener, but when he lost his receivers, he had a bunch of young guys and he still played hard. He didn't give up. He was still putting up some numbers, some good, some bad. But when he got both Nakua and Cup back, that's when he started, getting his confidence.
Mhm.
This team went 8-3 in their final 11. They swept the 49ers twice this year. They swept, actually not swept, but they split Seattle. They split Arizona.
Mhm.
They swept San Francisco. Those are some key wins right there. If the last game did count, I think the Rams would have swept them, but they didn't.
Yeah, for sure. So we
But
both
you mentioned too though, Stafford didn't have a lot of good players in Detroit. He was the Detroit Lions. He was the franchise of that team. One thing that I will always remember of Matthew Stafford is his toughness, partner. His
some
rookie year, his rookie year against the Cleveland Browns, he took a shot to the shoulder on a Hail Mary, which because of a penalty, the ball was placed at the 1 yard line. I remember he had to get taken out because he was in so much pain. But the Browns actually, for some reason, they called timeout.
Mhm.
So according to the rule book, because the other team called timeout, he didn't have. Normally, when you get injured, you got to sit out for a play. That's the rule. But because the other team called a timeout and the play didn't get run, they basically say, okay, you can come back in now. Against everybody's advice, he went back in and completed that 1 yard pass with a separated shoulder. His shoulder was separated because he took a shot right when he threw that ball. That is toughness there. You don't see that often. When do you see a guy go back in after getting his shoulder popped out like that?
And he's shown that with the Rams as well.
He's
These
shown his toughness.
yeah, with his
He took
ankle,
in the playoff game. He took a shot. He took a
a
shot to the
bad shot.
shoulder,
He went
and he
out.
said, "Yeah." And then I think somebody stepped on him too.
And he stepped on his finger, his
Someone
ring,
got he got
his
stepped on, and I
ankle.
think he took a shot to the crotch too.
Playing
He
one
took
on
a shot to
the
the crotch,
hand.
and then I think someone tried to step on his foot.
Yeah, and
And then Dominic and Sue in the playoff game in 21 tried to take him out too.
yeah, that's insane. Yeah, you gotta credit Stafford, man. And I know Stafford with his years with the Lions. I known him with Megatron, which was his only weapon out there with the Lions. But now with the
And
Rams,
he got Megatron. He got Megatron in the Hall of Fame too.
yeah. So if
He put
Megatron
up
is in the
numbers
Hall of Fame,
together.
you gotta put Stafford in, and he has a
Look,
ring, and he's
he's
not
he's
done
he,
yet.
he landed Calvin Johnson in the Hall of Fame. I think Calvin Johnson was the first ballot Hall of Famer,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
he's up there, man. He's one of
He's
the
in the Hall of Fame, and I think our stat guy is actually looking into that right now.
and his career came down short because of injuries. If not, he would have had a even more of an insane career.
Uh, Hold on, I'm being handed this by my stat guy. Yeah, so um, it looks like Calvin Johnson was the first ballot Hall of Famer the year the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, so I could see that happening for sure. So we both have to agree Stafford first ballot Hall of Fame.
He is. I mean, even with the weak teams that let's I'm trying to try to go back to that slide. We'll try to go back to that slide. But even though Stafford had terrible teams,
Uh-huh.
he still played at an all-time high. He never quit. Year
Yep.
after year after year with Detroit, I believe he was there for what 12 seasons, 14 seasons,
Yep.
and actually 12 seasons. He was there for 12 seasons. He played at his best. I mean, you look at his stats. I mean 45,000 yards, 282 touchdowns, 144 picks. That ratio is pretty good, but still he had a losing record.
Yeah.
If he had like two winning seasons in Detroit out of those 12 years. Now you
And
fast forward what 5 years now with the Rams. He's only missed the playoffs once, and that was the 2022 season where everybody went down. He went down, Aaron Donald went down, Cooper Kupp went down, Van Jefferson went down, Cam Akers was in and out of the lineup. There wasn't much of a strong offensive line that year. That was a rebuilding year. So he's only missed the playoffs once here. But in those years he's been here, he's been to the playoffs. Won a Super Bowl in his first year here. Yeah, he took an exit in the playoff game after that, and but last year he played well, almost won it for the team.
I
I
think
know
they
he's up
really
in age,
value
but
him.
he still has years. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
agree?
yeah, 100%. If he stays healthy this year, we 100% run it back to the playoffs. I could see it happening.
Of course, we do have Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup, and he came up and played well in the regular season finale, threw for over 300 yards and three touchdowns. So
Uh,
that's very interesting. This is a good. That was the best move that Sean McVay did was bringing back
yeah,
um, Jimmy Garoppolo.
he already knows the playbook after spending a year with us as backup, so I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so we want to share a special thing that's going on right now with the Rams, and this is looks like this is Brandon Fisk.
Yeah, Brandon
He's
Fitt.
going actually this was this past weekend actually. This is
Just
this
yesterday.
past weekend.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
yesterday.
hosted an event here in his native Michigan City, Indiana. He was actually the grand marshal for the looks like the city patriotic parade. So I
I,
mean, he had a busy weekend, but he had some good events going on in his hometown. I mean, hopefully everybody that lives nearby there was able to check that out. I
I
heard it was
like
a
it.
good
I
show.
like it. I like it. It's a good sign. A rookie after coming off a rookie season, great rookie season, and after that injury that he got out of the out of the gamers, the Eagles, he's coming back healthy. He feels good. He's giving back. I love it. I like it.
Yeah, he actually spoke out at OTAs last week, and he's ready to go. And
Let's
we take a
go.
look at if we take a look at this right here, Jared Verse. This is the next Aaron Donald right here,
Yep,
and I
100%.
believe this is from Teron Armstead, who just recently
He's
retired.
retired. Yeah.
He basically talked about Jared Verse, and it's glad that he's never going to see him again after he announced his retirement this past week.
He Verse gives hell to a lot of offensive linemen in the league, and I love it. And he's very vocal, which is gives us his confidence boost.
You saw what he did in the playoff game against Philly. He was we said this on the sports talk show. He talked the talk and he walked the walk. He definitely
Yeah.
walked the walk, and he came away with he actually came away with the Rookie of the Year honors.
Yeah, he was.
So let me tell you something. Are we looking at the next Aaron Donald here?
Uh, I'll say yes, and he's been working with he's been working out with Aaron Donald in the offseason, and they both challenge each other for training to see who competes better, and I love it. Aaron Donald's like his role model. He's up there. He's his coach. He's his mentor, which gives Jared Verse an incredible growth in his game, and It would be amazing if Aaron Donald comes out of retirement. I know it's not gonna happen, but who knows? And just teams up with Jared Verse. But Jared Verse is the next Aaron Donald, and he's gonna prove it more and more every year.
Yeah, I'm very, very fortunate to see what's going to happen there. And again, when you got 99, who's one of the greatest defensive players in this franchise, and that's another guy that's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer too. I mean, you can't argue with that. But when you have 99 training you and you're coming off a good year and you got that going on with you right now, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have a great second year. And now that you got players fearing you, you're gonna see a lot of double teams when it comes to verse. They will double team a lot.
And they started double teaming him a lot last year in his rookie year. So imagine, especially with our additions on the defensive line, we're gonna have a lot of sacks this coming year.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very looking forward to it as well. It's gonna be a great, great season coming up here for the Los Angeles Rams. And I think that might be our last clip there, I believe it is. Is that correct?
Yeah, partner, that was the last clip from the PowerPoint. Not sure you want to talk about anything else with Rams. I'm just excited for the season to be
Yeah,
honest.
me too.
It makes me want to even buy Rams season tickets, which is something I never do, but from watching them last year and from the way they competed and everything, I'm in love with the team, man. I can't wait.
Well, keep in mind, folks, that training camp is coming up in a couple of weeks
Right.
in Loyola, Marymount. Of course, we are going to keep you up to date on training camp. We're going to show you what's happened there. We'll give you the latest updates, the rumors. Again, this is a brand new show for us, and we're on our third episode.
Right, we're still
We've gotten actually 26 views from the first two episodes.
no
We
promotion. Shout
actually
out to
got
every viewer. Shout out to every viewer with no promotion. Shout out to every like you guys hit. I make sure to keep subscribing. Me and my partner are gonna keep continuing this in the season, and I'm just excited. So many things going in the off season, and it's not done yet, you know. And I forgot the draft is coming up, or is it just passed, right? I
yeah
mean,
the April draft.
yeah. Sorry about that. I got it confused with the NBA
I
draft.
think you got confused with basketball. Basketball season's over.
Yeah, and hey, basketball season is around the corner too. But we're here for Rams talk and anything else, partner. You want to add to what we're gonna have brewing? We're still testing these things out, and the show's gonna get better and better each time out.
Yeah, of course, we just want to say, thank everyone that's been watching. Encourage to continue to follow us here, share it with your friends. This is the newest show up on the blog. We'll try to get personnel here if we can to interview them. The first one I would like to get on here is Coach Sean McVay. I'd like to ask him a lot of questions. By the way, we do want to give him a great congratulations to him and his wife who announced that they're having a second child.
Well, nice. Another coach on the way.
Another baby coach on the way. But again, we want to give like congratulations to Sean McVay on that. And I know he's happy for that. But I know he wants to get to work because he's got a lot of unfinished business. And this is going to be one football team you do not want to mess with this year.
I agree, partner. They would. I feel like every team has to fear us after what we did last year, and we're even better this year, in my opinion.
The one thing that I remember listening when the parade happened a couple years back, there was a phrase that they were using, and it was called running it back.
You're back. I love it.
And I think we're going to be the first ones to say that this could be the year that they could run it back to another Lombardi trophy. They already
Nice.
got one. I think another one's up in his future.
Yep, let's make it two, partner. Let's make it two rings. Let's go.
So remember, folks, between now and the season, always remember run it back.
In the back.
Run it back. Not run it back as a repeat, but run it back to grab another Lombardi trophy.
Yes, sir.
Because I was confident that this defense could have destroyed Kansas City just like Philadelphia did.
100%.
And I know the Eagles are the kings right now, but there's always that one team that wants to get them off the hill. And I think this football team, the Los Angeles Rams, is the team that can get them off the hill. I know they got a rematch this year. I know it's going to be different.
Yes. It's gonna be different. We're gonna prove them wrong. We're gonna throw the whole
As long as our players stay healthy, there is a good chance they can win it all the way.
100%. And with the chemistry brewing, it's gonna be a great one.
And
That's
partner, final thoughts here today?
another great episode, partner. Happy to be back. We're still in the off season. Spring training's around the corner, and I'll say it's about 75 days more till football season's about to kick off once again. And I'm just very excited. I can't talk enough about the LA Rams because we have something brewing.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna be trying out new things, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. But continue to stay tuned. We're gonna be posting here. We also have the Sports Talk show on Podbean, which I'm happy to report or announce that we're going to be merging that show with this show. So on the YouTube channel Sports Talk, you'll see more Rams talk. Also, we have our Rams Talk YouTube page,
Mm.
so you can have it on both sides. And again, more viewers, the better for the show to go through.
Yeah, make sure everybody like, subscribe, and keep supporting. Appreciate everybody. Let's get it, partner. Rams house.
Yeah, of course. And again, my partner Jay's here. You know, hopefully he continues to feel better. Of course, I'm E. We want to thank you guys for joining us today. We're probably gonna take a little bit of a break because of OTAs and training camp is starting soon. So when training camp starts,
Cool.
we'll be back the week before training camp to preview it, and then from there we're gonna give you extensive episodes of training camp between now and preseason. Don't forget, preseason is just about less than 40 days away.
100%. Let's get it, partner. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going all the way this year, but we want to thank you guys for watching, and we appreciate everything, and we'll see you guys next time here on Rams Talk.
Let's go.